Hey guys, my name is Derek James, and today I'm sharing my experience inside the Authority Accelerator by Sunny Lenarduzzi. I joined the program only 4 or 5 months ago, and as of last month, I had my first month above 50K. I had a $64,000 month just to kind of start off with a quick win here, and it's just absolutely been insane, and there's no turning back, and I'm just really looking forward to building my business at the rate that we're starting to go at just in this short period of time. But I think it's also important that you know a bit of context about my story to kind of know where I came from. So I worked for a small business government contractor in the federal space. Most people have no idea what that is. And I say, if you've seen the movie War Dogs, it's not that crazy of a story, but that is literally exactly what I did. So we worked for the Department of Defense and other non-DoD agencies, and we provided goods and services. So we were in the procurement process, bidding on contracts, solicitations, RFPs, RFQs. You don't need to know all that stuff. But I had learned really quickly at a young age how to write proposals for these things, how to do business development, how to do the marketing, how to do all the facets of this. And I actually ended up winning for my business 32 federal contracts myself, worth over $15 million for my business. And or actually the business that I worked for, rather. It wasn't my business. So after working there for some time, I decided, essentially, I was tired of building somebody else's dream, and I wanted to make more of an impact. I wanted to help others. So in 2018, I decided to part ways and transition over to a coaching and consulting role, helping other small businesses who have a good or service to offer, and they want to go after the government marketplace, but they just don't know how. It's literally like learning a different language, and it's something that I'm very fluent in. So that seemed to make sense mentally to me, like, okay, let's kind of be this liaison in the federal space to help small businesses win federal contracts with the government. So that's really what I've been doing for the last 3.5 years. The first really 2.5 to 3 years, though, it was rough. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Any of you who have stuck out the entrepreneurial thing for a couple of years know that it's tough. I mean, it is a lot of hitting rock bottom. It is a lot of trying everything, just throwing stuff at the wall to see what works. And most things are not going to work. And then when you don't have the income coming in, you have that added stress. And, I had tried everything from, throwing some money at Facebook ads to building numbers of websites and number of funnels. I self-published a book on Amazon. I did the one-on-one coaching thing, and then I got really heavily into courses, right? So I built out, over a dozen free and low-ticket offer courses. And you know what? I started to make some money, and that's kind of how I was able to float and survive over these last 3.5 years. But what ended up happening was what resulted was a very unintentional business. And I found this problem that I was facing of like, okay, I'm making money. I'm making more money than I ever have online. That's scalable. But, okay, this is not the way that I wanted my business to be built. Like I said, it's clunky. It's almost like a duct tape business where things are just not organized or aggregated or focused in a way that makes sense for the way that I want to grow and scale my business. Meaning, I'm being associated with low cost, low ticket courses, $100, stuff like that. A lot of free courses. Derek's the free guy. That is not the brand perception. Derek's just out here to be your buddy. It's great to be the nice guy, but it does not work very well when you're trying to have a certain perception and brand and just establish yourself in the marketplace as somebody who can deliver real value, which ultimately is what I'm after. If people are just kind of associating you with cheap or free, it's like you can attract flies with honey. That's not necessarily a huge undertaking or a huge accomplishment, rather, right? So that's kind of where I had a problem, and I got stuck, and I decided to seriously look at getting some help. To that point, I had never worked with any coach. I was very kind of proud of that. I kind of always have a chip on my shoulder about doing everything on my own. I don't need anybody's help. And I'm saying this in case you can relate with this. Maybe you have done something for a year or 9 months or 2 years or 3 years like me, and maybe you built a little bit of a business, but you know that you can do so much better. And I started seeing these reviews and these testimonials and just kind of hearing about, Sunny's program, and just like, are you kidding me? Like as much work as I've been putting in, these people are doing 4-5x a month what I'm earning. that really started to unsettle me because it kind of made me question, my paradigm and what was possible. And I thought I was doing pretty well. And, like I said, those sorts of things really started to make me uneasy. That coupled with me not really feeling very satisfied and fulfilled in my business, not really knowing the impact that I'm making. Am I really, making a difference in my space? Or are people just kind of, getting my online products and maybe they use them, maybe they sit on their desktop, like, I don't know. That was not a good feeling for me. That is not how I wanted to make money. So kind of the last thing before joining AA, and Sunny doesn't even know this, was that a year prior, so the September before, so I guess that would have been 2021, I looked at joining. I actually got on the call with one of Sunny's people, and I listened to it, and I'm just being totally honest here. I said, you know what? I've done this on my own so far. I've had this call with, the rep, with Sunny's team. Awesome, great, super informative, answered my questions. But, it doesn't sound that hard. Like, thanks for the information. I think I can do this on my own. I'm a very resourceful person, right? I got this far on my own. Why make an investment? Well, what ended up happening was I went off to launch my own high ticket program based off of what I could piece together from the YouTube channel, Sunny's YouTube, and, what I got on the call and some of that stuff. And it was like, I did it. I had a little bit more success, but I don't know what it was. Like it just didn't happen. Like it just didn't click. The numbers just were not there. I don't know why. I thought I was doing everything, but it just was not clicking. So I went through a whole year of that with, again, some mild success, but not anywhere near what I wanted. And then so last September, which is past 4 or 5 months ago, came around and I'm like, okay, Derek, you've given this enough time. You've put in enough work, now it's time to actually take this serious. So I decided to invest in the Authority Accelerator. No questions asked. Didn't even need to talk to anybody. Just threw my card at them saying, okay, I know this got to be the last missing piece here. I don't know what it is. I don't know what I missed because I'm pretty smart. I'm pretty resourceful, but we're going to find out. So I joined the Authority Accelerator, and it's just crazy what happens when you join because you're almost automatically teleported. I don't want to say teleported, but you're just taken to this different space mentally where you feel what's expected of you kind of changes. At least that's the way it was for me. And I think maybe that's why people say people who pay attention. And I think maybe that was the difference. I was trying to be the free person and resourceful, all credit due to myself, I guess. But once I paid and I made the investment, everything totally changed. And like I said, just last month, my highest month ever, we did 64K in the business. And some of the things that I didn't even realize would come out of this besides the monetary point. Everybody wants to hear about the money. That's why I'm open about sharing the success here with it. But for me, some of the things that are even more or just as important is the simplifying of my offer. Like I said, I was doing one-on-one coaching. I had low ticket courses. I had free courses. I had downloadables. My business was just such a headache, so complicated. I didn't even know what to do the next day or the next week or the next month. Now with this model, I've literally turned off and happily deleted, groups and, resources and things that I was offering just because, it was pulling me in a million different directions. And I know that my customers and my clients didn't really know what my offer was either. So I wasn't clear on my offer, so how could my clients be clear on my offer? And that's probably one of the biggest takeaways that was unexpected, was that just, man, things have actually gotten easier. I spend less time working and I'm making more money. Stress is down. This is probably the first time where I can actually think ever where I know in the coming months and quarters, like essentially where I'm going to be at financially because I know my numbers. And that's something that Sunny drills into your head, and the Facebook group is amazing. They all drill into your head. Everybody knows this. Like I said, it kind of just teleports you and takes you to this whole other space. So it's not just about the how-to. And this is probably one of the last things that I'll share in terms of a takeaway for me. Even when it comes to teaching my own clients and me sharing knowledge, I came from a very how-to, okay? 1 + 1 = 2. Okay, here's a course. Do this, you'll get that result. that was the way that I was stuck in thinking. And I think it's something that's plaguing the whole industry. We're in the information age. There is no lack of information. There's no lack of how-to on YouTube and Google and all these places. Your clients, your customers, your students, whoever you're trying to help, they do not need more how-to. They do not need more information. They need transformation. And for me, that light bulb moment that maybe will be for you too. Maybe in this video it will click for you. I shouldn't even be giving this away, right? Because I should make you get in the program and join, right? But the light bulb moment for me was you have to have your students actually do something. And it's not sexy, but when that hit me, it was like an earthquake. Okay, how to is not actually making them do something. In Sunny's program, she makes you do something. You can't go on to the next step until you do something. And I don't know if maybe it's something you already know. I don't know if that's, you're like, oh, that's it. That's the big secret. But for me, it's like the difference between how to or baking a cake. If you're baking a cake, you have to go to the store. That means you have to get in the car. You have to buy the milk and the eggs and the butter and whatever else. I don't bake. I probably would make something totally wrong. But with this program, I've been able to essentially bake the cake, which means I literally have something tangible. The monetary part that I'm sharing with you, or the simplification of my business, these are all actual tangible changes. So in order to get that transformation and that result, that means somebody has to actually do something. In order to do something, okay, you kind of have to structure things in a way that empower them to do so, instead of giving them just how-to information. That is everywhere. And my guess is maybe you've had an established business. Maybe that's something that you were trying to do. And maybe your students haven't been getting a certain result. For me, that was a total game changer. So kind of the last thing, I don't want this video too long, but based on my story and my personal experience, I really wish that first phone call that I made, I wish I would have had joined then, because where would my business be if I would have joined a year earlier? And to me, that's my personal experience. I wouldn't have had to go through this whole hard learning process, learning things the hard way, if I would have just kind of stopped overthinking it, stopped thinking that I'm just so darn smart and that I know everything and that I don't need anybody's help. And basically, stop trying to be a one-man island and essentially let Sunny be part of my team. Here's the thing, I don't know if you know, but you actually get to talk to Sunny. It's not where you just type in the Facebook group and she'll respond to you. She will do that, but it's more than that. It's not B, where you kind of just join a webinar and she just talks to everybody as a group. And then maybe at the end of the webinar, you can just put questions in the chat. And if you're lucky, she'll pick your number and she'll kind of respond to you in the chat. That's not what it's like. It's like submit your question and she'll pulls you off mute and then she talks to you for 10, 15 minutes and you actually get to talk to her. And you can pretty much do that as much as you want. So that in and of itself, and that's something that I'm offering in my program as well, students absolutely love it. It's a total game changer. And I think it really changes people's minds when they realize that you're making yourself personally accessible and accountable. It shows that you care. And so for me, Sunny being able to show that she cares enough to even talk to me, even though there's thousands of people in this program, has totally never, ever made me ever second guess me joining the program. It was an absolute no-brainer, and I never looked back once I joined. And if that doesn't do it for you, everybody I see, they're at the very minimum, at least in the program, posting in our private community in the group. They're at a minimum, everybody makes their money back. And almost everybody that I see, I'm not in there every single day looking, but they make so much more than that. It's the norm. What I'm earning and other people are earning, it kind of raised me to that level. It's the norm. It's not like everybody's in there and only one person is actually making an income. And that's pretty much the last thing that I had to say is I wanted to be elevated. I kind of wanted to be transported to get out of my own head and become part of a team where, everybody's marching to the same beat. So yeah, I hope that helps. I know I'm a little bit all over the place, but I think it's important that I kind of share mentally where I was at all these different stages. It's my way of kind of hoping that you resonate with that. Maybe you can put yourself in one or two of these situations that I laid out, and maybe decide to, help yourself out and decide to not try and conquer the world by yourself, right? You need support, you need a team, and sometimes you just need to get out of your own way and stop overthinking things. And that was totally it for me. So I couldn't be more happy about the program. I'm super excited about my business. And if this sounds at all like you, maybe this will help you to not be stuck for a whole year like I was. Quite honestly, I wish I would have been able to join 2-3 years ago, right? It just wasn't the case. So I'll end it here, guys. Hope this was helpful, and I'll talk to you later.